Hi, I'm Allison Miller. Thank you so much for joining me for Spiritual Wellness. I'm coming to you every Tuesday with a new video by 10 a.m. that's all about connecting to your inner home. So that part of you that can't be broken, even when the external world is not seeming to be going quite the way you want it to. There's this internal refuge, this softer, quieter space that I want to help you connect with so that you have a place to call home no matter what. Please go ahead and grab props if you'd like to use them today. We're going to do some meditation, some breathing, some movement. And so you might want a couple yoga blocks. And you may want a cushion or something to sit on. Today's practice, we're going to connect with lunar energy. So as we look at the world that we live in, so much of our energy, so much of what we see, what we're taught, what we culturally kind of strive for is the more masculine energy. It's that energy of achieving, of doing. But of course, to feel balanced, we want to really connect and find the more feminine, the lunar energy of being, feeling, reflecting. So today's practice is all about helping you find that more lunar energy of being, feeling, and reflecting, kind of built through rest to a certain extent, but there's practices that we can do as well just to help us tap into this more cooling lunar energy. So go ahead and take a comfortable seat. We'll talk more about the lunar versus the solar as we roll through today, but take a comfortable seat. And start to tune into your breathing. And we think about the fact that the mind in yoga is associated with the moon. And the energy is associated with the solar, the heating, so to speak. So as we start to study the mind, there's a saying that says, when the moon is made steady, the sun will rise. When the mind is made steady, the energy will rise. So sometimes we get caught up in this cycle of doing and think the more we do, the more we'll achieve. But really, when we can come to a place and find this lunar, find this calm, this peace, we'll also see the energy start to rise. Taking a few more moments here just to tune into the natural breath you brought into practice today. We're going to work with a lunar breath called Chandra Vedana, and it is alternate nostril. So I always kind of like to take second and third finger, index and middle. Either take them to your third eye. I like to use right hand. Right hand is generally recommended unless it's very uncomfortable or not possible for you. So index and middle, either to the third eye or fold them into the palm. And then you'll have your thumb and your ring finger to just be able to lightly close the nostrils. And we want to close right up kind of where the nostril is coming into the cartilage to the bone here. So rather than closing the whole nostril, we're just going to lightly press up kind of right near the bone. And then, let's go ahead and get set up here. We're going to take a full breath in through both nostrils and take a breath out. And now on your inhale, go ahead and plug the right nostril and breathe in through the left this time. And as you exhale, close the left nostril and breathe out the right. And so each inhale is going to be coming through the left nostril. Each exhale is going to be going out the right. Chandra Vedana, bringing in the lunar energy. And as you work with breathing in through the left Breathing out through the right. See if you can see the breath getting a little bit softer, a little bit more subtle, and a little bit more smooth. Kind of bringing some of these softer qualities into the breath. You might even think about a feather under the nostrils that's just barely ruffled here as you're breathing in and out. That's the type of subtleness that you want to start to bring into the breath. That type of subtleness is going to start to bring that same level of calm into the mind. I'm going to take a few more rounds here, maybe about 3-4 more rounds of the lunar breathing in through the left, out through the right nostril. And just finish up the round that you're on, and you can let the hands come down to rest at your thighs. Taking a nice steady breath through both nostrils and breathing out. See if you can notice what we're trying to achieve here with the lunar breathing is that the left nostril becomes a little bit more active. See if you feel just a little bit more breath moving through the left nostril. It might be so subtle you're not picking up on it. Or you might actually pause and do a few more rounds until you can feel that the left feels a little bit more active. And you will, it's subtle, but you will notice just more moving through the left versus the right. All right, let's bring hands lightly together at the heart, palms to touch, and take a moment to set an intention for today's practice. All right, let's go ahead and come around to all fours. And now a lot of times with lunar practices, we could do mostly things on the ground, and that would be very sufficient. Today, though, we're kind of in Pitta season. Here in Minnesota, it's summertime, so it's a little bit more Pitta time. So I thought we would do a little bit more active practice that still draws in some of the lunar energy. So that's going to be Chandra Namaskar, which is a moon salute. And this is one that there's a couple different versions. This is one that I like. We're going to take it in a moment here. Let's just take a couple of rounds to warm up the spine, though, of cat-cow. So as you inhale, you could drop the belly and lift the gaze. As you exhale, round the back body, tuck the chin. And just a couple more here with your breath to warm up the spine. All right, next inhale, we'll come back to tabletop. And as you exhale, take hips toward the heels. Just stretch into a child's pose. Maybe kind of rock side to side into the hips here. Just lube up the hips a little bit. We'll walk both hands over to the right here and just stretch out the left side body, left underarm. Taking the hands through center, we'll walk hands over to the left and take a nice side body opener here to the right. And as you inhale, back to center, take an exhale, sink into the child's pose. And then we'll inhale and come up to all fours. And take the right foot back here. Bounce off the ball of the right foot just a couple of times. On your exhale, go ahead and bring the right foot forward. You can always use blocks just to bring the floor up and give you a little more space through the torso. We're going to Inhale, lift the left knee up, and then exhale, step the left foot forward. Go ahead and soften the knees here and just interlace the fingers behind the back in your forward fold today. Keep the elbows soft too. Take a couple of breaths here, breathing in through the nose and out. And then on your in-breath, sweep your arms all the way up. And exhale, hands float down to your sides. And stepping here to a nice mountain pose, feet about hip width, soften the knees. We'll start our first round of the moon salute. So we'll take the arms up here on an inhale. As you exhale, I'm just going to take my right wrist and tip to the left. As you inhale, come up. And as you exhale, grab left wrist and tip right. Inhale up. And now I'm going to step my left foot out wide so I can stay facing you. It doesn't probably matter which foot you step out if you want to step the other one out so you can stay facing me. And feet can face the long edge of your mat. We're going to take and point the toes out just a tiny bit. Inhale and take the arms up into standing star pose. And breathe here right into the heart space and see if you can just feel a little energy moving out to the fingertips and the toes as well. We're going to take this moon salute nice and slow today, although you can, once you know it, move more quickly. On the exhale, we're going to move down into goddess pose. So bend into the knees, and here especially it's important to have the toes kind of pointing in the same direction as the knees. Take a couple of breaths here. And then on your inhale, straighten back, kind of come through star. We're going to turn the right toes in, left toes turn toward what's now the back of my mat. And reach out as far as you can with the left hand. And go ahead and tip into a triangle pose. And now you can always have one block on each side of your mat. That might be nice for this practice. So left hand could rest on the shin or the block. We're going to take just a couple more breaths here in Trikonasana. Triangle. See if you can ground into that back foot. Find some length from the tail through the crown. All right, next exhale, I'm going to bring both hands down toward the mat and step my feet just a little bit wider into pyramid pose. So hip distance apart. Even a little wider than the hips, possibly, not too much, about hip distance should be good. And then we're gonna inhale and find some length in the spine. You could have hands at the thigh or the shin or the floor. And each inhale, finding length, each exhale, sinking in. So on the inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, sink in, Parsvottanasana. Take one more round of breath here, breathing in and out. On your in-breath, kind of bend into the left knee just a little bit. And as you exhale, you could step the right foot back a bit. We're going to come into a runner's lunge. So you can be up on your blocks if that's helpful. Hands on the floor is the other alternative. Just like your heel is pressed into the starting block, active and engaged. Take a couple breaths here. And see if you can find that nice steady quality of breath. Softening some of those hard edges of the mind here, noticing any kind of negative self-talk and things. Go ahead and bring the left hand now to the inside of the left foot and turn the torso just a little bit here toward the long edge of your mat, kind of towards what would be the right side of the mat. And we're going to take Skandasana, which is a big wide-legged squat pose. You could bring a block in under the hand if you like. And I want you to see the action here is going to be to exhale and bend into the left leg. Left toes are kind of pointing toward this corner of my mat, and right foot is just pointing toward the long edge. And so when I inhale, I can bring my hips up and straighten my left leg a little. And when I exhale, I can sink into the left knee and the hips a little. So each inhale coming up, each exhale sink down. One more time. And down. All right. As you inhale this next time, I'm going to walk my hands toward the center of my legs here, toward the long edge of my mat for a wide-legged forward fold. You could use the block under the hands. You can always keep the hands at the thighs and not go so far. If there's issue in the low back, please do that. And what we'll do is just take a couple breaths in the wide-legged forward fold. And traditionally, people also will take Malasana here. You could have toes pointing out in the direction of the knees and come into a low squat pose. That's another option. Sometimes you could even pop into a crow pose here in between, in the middle. It's really kind of the three main options, but you can be creative. Okay, go ahead and start to walk the hands now over towards your right foot. We're going to take Skandasana, the wide-legged squat here on this side first. And so this is the one where we're going to have the right toes kind of pointing toward this corner of our mat. Little softness in the knee here. And each inhale, you might lift the hips up a bit. Each exhale, sink in. Keeping the outer edge of that foot right where it's at. There is a big version of Skandasana I won't teach today, but if you know it and you want to go there, you can. One more breath. Okay, and then we'll rotate around toward the front foot for runner's lunge. So the right foot is now kind of your front foot here. The beautiful thing about the moon salute is we do get to use the whole mat. So taking a couple breaths, trying to see that the front knee doesn't extend out over the ankle. Really stretching here into the hips. You runners definitely need this. We all need this, right? And just one more breath here. All right, next inhale, you can straighten that front leg any amount and step the feet so they're, both heels are able to get down to the mat. So that usually requires quite a bit shorter stance. We're going to take pyramid pose again, Parsvottanasana on this side. You can inhale and lengthen. Exhale, sink in and fold. Couple more breaths here to inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. One more breath. All right, and then we're going to pivot the back foot. And if you wanted to move faster through this salute, you would just transition on your exhales and spend about one breath in each pose. We're going to have the right hand to the shin or a block. Turn the left toes out just a little bit and take the left arm up for Trikonasana, triangle. Always have that option to take the top arm and just let it rest at the low back if that feels better. Keep finding a little bit of length and space in the pelvis here too. Do not need to stack the pelvis between two panes of glass. Let the pelvis be free. Let the pelvis move. All right, on an in-breath, take the arms up. And we're going to float the arms down. Just take a second to pause here. Sometimes there can be a little lightheadedness as that energy comes up. Near the end of the salute, take just a moment. And then on your exhale, turn the toes out just a little bit. Come into that goddess pose once again. Keep the shoulders stacked over the hips. We're just going to take one more breath here, in through the nose and out. On your inhale, straighten the legs. Maybe step them out just a little more, standing star. Draw that big full moon energy. See your whole aura, the whole energy around the body right now is cool and blue like the moon. Try to infuse your thoughts, your mind, your cells with that cool blue lunar energy. All right, as you exhale, hands come down, step the feet together. Inhale, take the arms up, and we're gonna go ahead and take the left wrist and tip to the right, crescent moon. As you inhale, straight up, and as you exhale, crescent moon to the right. Grab the left wrist. And then inhale up. Exhale, take hands down to the heart, palms to your chest, to your heart. Interoceptive pause, a moment for mind and body to connect. And a lot of research is starting to show that when the mind and the body are connected, when the mind understands where the body is, how the body's feeling, that stress is lower. Our nervous system stress response is lowered. So taking this interoceptive pause, it will help with that. All right, let's go ahead and come on down to your abdomen now. So you can come through all fours. Set the blocks off to the side here. And just lower down to the belly. Take the hands right alongside the midline of the chest, or if you were to think about them just going right underneath the elbows. I'm just going to turn so I don't lose my mic connection. I sometimes do when I turn that way. Okay. So go ahead and turn the hands, fingertips pointing up, but get the hands a little bit lower, a little farther back than we would in a traditional cobra. We want them a little bit more under the elbows, more equal with the midline of the chest. And then on an in-breath, lift up into cobra. Squeeze the shoulder blades together a little bit as you exhale, lower. As you inhale, press through the tops of the feet, just a little bit, lift the heart, lift the head, and exhale, lower. You can go through just a few more of these. And noticing that space behind the heart. That's kind of where I want you to just tap in and activate and kind of scratch the itch there, so to speak. We don't really get to reach this space behind the heart with the hands. It's hard to touch with the hands. Seeing if we can massage, rub into the space between the shoulder blades here with our cobra pose today. All right, as you exhale this next time, just take crocodile pose. Stack the hands. Let the forehead rest on the hands. Couple breaths. Just let energy flow freely through that upper back body, through the space between the shoulder blades. And we'll go ahead and roll to your side. Come around onto your back for me. Take your time with the transition to your back. And as we come onto our back, let's pull both knees into the chest. Gently rock here side to side. We're going to hold just the right knee. And then hold it with the left hand. Draw it across the body. Right shoulder does not have to touch all the way down as the right arm goes into a T. But as you relax into the pose here, you might work towards moving the right shoulder down toward the mat a little bit more with each out breath. Supine twist. Bringing that calm, subtle quality into the breath here today. And bring it back. Give that right knee one more squeeze. And you can adjust the hips and then bring the left knee into the chest. Hold on to the left knee with the right hand. Take the left arm out into a T. Right hand draws the left knee across, supine twist. Twists are contraindicated, meaning we should be very careful or not do them at all while pregnant, especially in the third trimester. So just be mindful of any twists later in pregnancy. I just want to throw that in today. And as you bring the knee back to center, give it one more little hug. Let's hug the right knee in towards the chest as well. Rocking side to side. Let's circle the knees around in each direction a couple of times too. And then you can take yourself toward Shavasana. So nice blanket under your head maybe today. I'm going to throw a bolster under my knees. I like to take just a second to make sure I'm comfortable in Shavasana. It does help you relax if the joints are supported. So play with that blanket behind the head, make it feel good, or maybe it's a thin pillow, nothing too high. We want to make sure when you're lying in Shavasana, this is kind of just another nervous system thing, that the throat isn't really open. The chin shouldn't really be pointing up with the throat very open. The nervous system is going to kind of relax more. If the chin is a little bit more kind of perpendicular to the earth, maybe a little slight tuck can be okay. So just think about that as you get settled. Head shouldn't be tilting too far back. Take a few moments here to settle. Did a fairly quick asana practice today. But just notice any shifts in your own body, how the body feels. Finding that breath and just really feeling it in through the nose and out. Try to let the soles of the feet soften and relax. The lower legs, notice any gripping or tension. The upper legs, the abdomen. Freeing that energy, that space around the heart, just noticing the effortless ease of the breath lifting and lowering the rib cage here. Softening the shoulders, relaxing across the collarbones out through the arms to the tips of the fingers. Letting the head be heavy, the muscles of the face be soft and relaxed, especially the jaw, especially the forehead and the temples, the brow. And then just being a breathing body. So, as I mentioned in the beginning of our practice today, this notion of lunar energy. It's all about balance, right? So much of what we are doing in our day-to-day is more solar, more masculine. It's achieving, it's doing. It's all about the end result. And in order to find balance, it's good to take this time where we're more about being, more about feeling, more about being in the flow. The lunar energy is flow. The moon has the ability to turn the tides within the ocean, within our bodies. And thinking about the content of water in the body, we are largely made of water, as you probably know. And just imagine the body now lying, the whole body, just as a pool of water. You can see it as a pond, a lake that you might know. Just imagine your body as a part of that, your body as the surface of the water, just as that calm body of water would be. And imagine it on a calm, calm night. Not a ripple on the surface like glass. The smooth surface of the water. You can start to just see the cool blue moon rising up over the edge of the pond or the lake now. And you can see the moon start to slowly climb. And notice the moon light reflecting off that calm surface of the water, your body as the water. And letting that cool blue light further infuse the cool blue water with calm, with peace, with more of that lunar energy of just being. No need to achieve, just to be. You can start to gently wiggle the fingers and the toes. You can stay in Shavasana much longer too, if you're comfortable. If you'd like to stay longer, please do. If you're ready to conclude your practice, you can just bend the knees. Roll to the left side. And then press up to a comfortable seat. Slide a blanket or a cushion underneath your bottom if you like. And taking just a moment to see if you can reclaim that calm, that peace, that feeling of the still surface of the water. And I just want to remind you, one of my favorite meditation practices is to see the mind with that calm surface of the water, and to see the pebble drop, to see the ripples, but to see how the water returns to stillness. So each thought is a little ripple, a little stone dropping, and the mind returns to stillness. Be a very effective practice to continue on with if you have a few more moments today. I will sign off. I want to just leave you with this thought that the divine feminine honors being and feeling as much as she honors achieving and doing. And I want all of us to embody a little bit more of that divine feminine in our daily lives. Thank you so much for being here today for Spiritual Wellness. I'm Allison Miller.